It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
And here we go. Let's talk some sports. It is Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network. The great Braylon Edwards alongside. Bray, how you doing? Good afternoon to you.
I'm doing good, man. Good afternoon to you. I feel bad because you got your fresh haircut. You got your North Carolina shirt on. And North Carolina's not in the tournament, buddy. I'm just sorry.
You know what? You know why I wear this?
Sorry to burst your bubble, man.
You know why I wear this?
UNC didn't make it, buddy.
You know why I wear the
Why
UNC
do you wear that,
blue?
Ryan?
Creighton Blue Jays?
Dre Bly, baby.
Oh, Dre Bly.
Dre Bly is back. UNC
this guy.
and the Lions, baby. Dre Bly.
Look at this guy. You know Dre's my guy.
I know it is.
Dre's my guy, man. We'll be tight.
Trust me, I'm going to be working on you to work on him.
Well, I've talked to him since he's been Detroit
Yeah.
Lion. He talked about just being excited being back in the city. And we'll have him on soon. Don't know when, but we'll have him on soon. His energy is infectious, because obviously he was down there in his former alma mater coaching, playing DB coach. Now he's back in Detroit where they bought him in 2003. So he's excited. He said he's here for business. He says he sees what Dan Campbell, he says Brad Holmes are building, how they're building it the right way. He just loves being around other coaches. Like, that's the cool thing about Dre. That's what he's talking about being so cool with. Because a lot of times, Ryan Maz, you play in the league, and your coach would be some guy off the sheet of paper. Your coach would be some guy that, somebody gave him a shot, somebody gave him a chance, somebody's analytic guy, he's somebody's son, he's somebody's cousin. And all he's doing is looking at the sheet, the piece of paper. So, all right, cool, Braylon, what I want you to do is you're going to go 5 steps, you're going to make it right. Ball should be there. They teach like that. They don't have the ability to have played the game, to tell, show a wide receiver, no. Flip the hat backwards and get in the dirt. It's like, look, you got to run around. You got to put the emphasis on the outside. Stick the DB here and bring it here. When you see it like that as a player, now it instantly validates that coach. When you start looking at, this guy's been in 3 Pro Bowls. When you start looking at, Mark Brunell's Super Bowl champ and is one, you're like, I have to listen to this individual. When they put the hand in the dirt, when Hank Fraley's working with his offensive lineman, he's getting a hand in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? He's showing these guys how to move. And it's just a different thing when a player can see that his coach has played the game, knows the game, can demonstrate how it should look. Because a lot of times they coach off that black and white, and it ain't like that. It's gray in there, man. So
I'll take the Lions coaching staff over anybody in a fight, too. Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you. I have to say, when Braylon does that little...
Oh, the mother at the end.
I mean, even that looks. He don't even move out of this box. But do it real quick for. I mean, you can
talking about like that.
I mean, it even jukes me out on the television.
Thank you for playing to my vanity.
Absolutely. Good afternoon to you, Tom Mazawey.
Hey, boys.
What's up,
it's good to be here. You know what a week from right now is?
Easter?
Opening day.
Opening day.
There you go.
Major League Baseball. Opening
Tigers
day.
on the road.
In Tampa.
Home opener 2 weeks from today.
Correct.
1 week from
April
today.
6th.
Tigers start the season on the road.
Against the Red Sox, nonetheless.
Yeah.
We will be down there.
We will be down there.
I forgot to say yes on a text message. My apologies. Yes, I will be with you guys.
We will be down there. Good old opening day. Yeah. I'm excited about opening day. And you know what else I'm excited for?
This football season?
Max, we'll get into it later.
Football?
I'm excited for the Michigan State game tonight. We'll get into it later.
I am too.
But I do want to get this off my chest right now. I am rooting for the Michigan State Spartans. I am openly rooting for the Michigan State Spartans. Before we get into the weeds of who's going to win, I want to go on record right now and say I do love Tom Izzo.
Right.
Michigan is not in the tournament. I'm going to root for Izzo and the Spartans. I just am. I don't know what that means to a lot of Michigan fans out there, but I am rooting for Tom Izzo and the Spartans. Not only do I love Tom Izzo, he's been kind enough to come on our show with 2 Michigan guys, 3 Michigan guys, really, with Maz. And He's just always been a great guy. And then obviously with what they've been through this year, wouldn't that be something to go finish this thing out with another Final Four in national championship potentially? His worst team probably in the last 15 years.
19 wins.
Could get him another national championship potentially.
Definitely. We talked about it the other day. I don't want to get too mushy on Michigan State because it's not how we operate here in Ann Arbor. but to your absolute point, Tom Izzo is a friend of the show. I told you how I feel about Tom Izzo. Every time I see him, he's always telling me, stop acting like I don't know who you are. He's a great guy. And like you said, what happened to him in Michigan State Strong, we were all supporting them, and we still all supporting them after what happened up there on that campus. So this would be interesting. This would be good for this. Always stories. Storylines are what make sports, right, Maz? You got Tom Izzo, what happened to Michigan State, coming off a pretty bad year for Michigan State, but then the incident that happens up there. And then you look at the player on his team. The player that's playing the best right now, Tucker. Where's he from? He's from New York. And now they are playing in Madison Square Garden. I'll be cheering for Michigan State to win for Michigan State. But Kansas State, I'll be cheering for a young player named Keontae Johnson.
Hell yeah.
Keontae Johnson has probably the best story going.
Is he the 5'8" kid?
No. He's not that story. He was a shooting guard on Florida last year.
No kidding.
And he collapsed on the court.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I did not realize he's at Kansas State now.
Yep, collapsed on the court. Was in a coma for 3 days. Came out of the coma, had to go through. Wasn't sure if he could play basketball again. And along in these process, Lloyd's of London is the insurer. You know about Lloyd's of London. Lloyd's of London is the insurer. I had Lloyd's of London going into my senior year at Michigan. Basically, they match whatever you would have made in the NBA if you
an insurance policy
exactly,
for those of you that don't know out there.
It's an insurance policy, and so his insurance policy was $5 million last year after the collapse and the uncertainty. He could have taken $5 million, walked away from basketball, and said, "You know what? I'll figure out life with this $5 million." He said, "No, I'm cool on the $5 million." Had to transfer because Florida wouldn't insure him. Florida wouldn't bring him back. Kansas State gave him a scholarship, brought him to the program, and last week he hit the game-winning shot to go to the Sweet 16 to play against Michigan State. So I'm cheering for Michigan State, but I'm cheering for Keontae Johnson from TCU.
He's the real deal, that kid.
Yeah, he can play. He can
Superb.
bet on himself, man.
By the way, my daughter Lily, so excited for the game. She's been to every Spartan game. This kid, I brought her up right. All right, she loves sports.
Of course.
She goes to Michigan State. I did the best I could. All right, she's Michigan State. She loves her Spartans. Loves it.
Whoa.
And she is so nervous and excited. Calls me all the time. Talk basketball. She knows more than me about college basketball. Anyway, she said the students were already lined up at 10 a.m. to get into these big bars there in East Lansing. She can't go yet because she has class. She'll join them later for the game. And she says, "Man, Dad, people just have the best time." But I'm like, they're not going to be able to watch the game. They're going at 10 o'clock. They're going to be completely whitewashed by the tip-off at 6:30 tonight.
Hey, I love about this story is like, Maz, you're such a sweetheart.
Yeah,
he doesn't realize that Lily's already got her seat. Lily's been there since 10 a.m.
Totally.
Lily's been there since 10
today, man.
She's texting you from there.
She didn't go to class
No,
today.
she
She's
is at
texting
class.
you from there.
No, she's at class.
B-Dubs, front row
Did
center.
you FaceTime her in
did.
class? You make sure she's in class.
I talked to her earlier.
She's got a green screen. That's her class.
She does not lie to her dad.
No,
It is, Bray, and you can speak to this to a certain extent. Although as a player, one of the great benefits of going to a big college is being in these moments right now. There is nothing better than when you are at Michigan State, Duke, wherever, and your team is playing in a big game. If you're at Michigan and it's Michigan, Ohio State, or you're in the Final Four, or you're at Michigan State and you're playing in the college football playoff or whatever, or Final Four. I mean, it's moments like this that really make your college experience. In 1997, my freshman year, I will never
It's not
forget.
fair, man.
Rose Bowl,
I
baby.
will
not fair.
never forget those games. We had the Michigan football national championship and then followed it up immediately with a national championship in hockey. And then even that even that second, my sophomore year in '98,
Yeah.
Tractor Trailer and Travis Conlon winning
Mo Taylor.
Mo Taylor,
Lou Bullock.
Maceo Baston winning the inaugural Big Ten champ. I mean, you were just making up any reason now, like have a great time.
Meanwhile, when I was at Michigan,
like
I had good old Daniel Horton, Deion Johnson, Courtney Sims, and Chris Hunter, and Lester Abrams. Oh, thank you for
that was a good team.
Thank you for the NIT tournament
They
championship.
won the NIT.
Who cares about the NIT?
That's Brian Ellerby.
No, you go to Michigan to be in the
I
Final
know.
Four tournament. Thank you to the Fab
I
Five.
watched the doubleheader of NIT games last night.
sick.
And I just want to tell you, there's a team called Utah Valley that could have competed in the NCAA tournament. Watch them next season. Jerry Stackhouse's Vandy team went down, by the way.
Oh, they did.
They lost.
Because I always think of
Anybody
like
can play in
Stack
the
as a
tournament
potential
now.
next Pistons coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He loves where he's at.
Yeah.
Remember, Vandy lost to Xavier last year in the NIT championship? I got Xavier in my Final Four.
Now the
This
NIT, they don't do it in New York anymore.
No, it's going to be in Vegas next week.
Oh, really?
Vegas.
Wow.
First time ever
Wow.
since 1956.
That is incredible,
Was it
man.
1938?
Maz got mad at me earlier today
Why?
on chat.
Why?
It was just quick.
It was a quick mad.
It was a quick Maz, and then I explained it, and then we were back good. Because basically I said that, we're talking about the tournament. I forgot what happened. I said, nobody's watching
I put up like the how many people watched each game in the tournament. And we'll talk about that.
At Michigan State, they're number one. Marquette, Michigan State was like 10.5. So it's the most watched game so far. So nobody's watching these games anymore. I said, if there wasn't sports betting on Final Four or the NCAA tournament, nobody will be watching the NCAA tournament. Nobody has a whole. I said, and he said, what? I didn't put any money on the game. I said, man. I said, you are a different case. Has nothing to do with you. You're a loyal fan. You're one of the 12%. I'm talking about those 88%. I'm talking about the other 240 million people in this country. If it wasn't for sports betting, the average bet, Ryan, is $4. That means people just $4 to win 25. You want a soda? You want a drink?
Right.
You want lunch? That's the average bet. I'm telling you. That's
Really?
the only. Yeah, average bet is $4 to make 25. It's the average sports
crazy.
bet.
The parlay, the biggest sucker bet in the
Biggest.
history
Just
of
like a
betting.
slot machine.
That is
It's even worse.
It is incredible what a sucker bet the parlay is.
Speaking of that,
It's even worse because the slot machine is like luck. Like you feel like you know a parlay, but you really absolutely do not.
let's take MSU in the over tonight.
right. If you bet 2 games, you win 1. If you bet 3, you win 2. If you win 4, you win 3.
In the
I did a
meantime-
6-team parlay, won 5 of them. Damn. I should have just done a 5-team parlay. Oh, you would have won 4.
Hey, in the meantime,
my
give me all
gosh.
your money.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me all your money.
Hey guys, lots of news regarding the Detroit Lions today, collectively and individually. We'll talk to Mike O'Hara, DetroitLions.com, longtime Lions beat writer. We'll talk to him coming up about 15 minutes from now. I do want to get your take, guys, on what you're seeing these players do to stay in Detroit. Another move happened today. We'll get into it. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. When you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house, tells the bad guys one thing: stay out. Whether you are at home or on the road, a customized solution from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring and technology backed by people. All you have to do is call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hey gang, Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can, especially during the Lent season. Some of your favorites during Lent, of course, the shrimp Alfredo, the shrimp stir fry, and the brand new fish sandwich. You know what tomorrow is? It is Fish Fry Buffet Friday. Get on out there. All-you-can-eat fish fry on Fridays at Big Boy.
Want to welcome back JB to the show as well. JB was out on the road yesterday with the Big D Energy crew. JB, my man, good to have you back. Fletch, as always, in there keeping us straight. Hello, Fletch, he's waving. Braylon, I want to come to you with this because I'm always intrigued.
I don't want it.
By stories like this.
I don't want it.
You don't want it, huh?
I don't want it. No, talk to me. What you got for me right now?
Halapuliative Vitae.
Started off good.
Holly Vitae.
Holly Vitae.
You started off good.
Took a pay cut to remain a Detroit Lion. Salary cap hit was $9.4 million. Now it's $3 million. Romeo Okora took a pay cut to stay a Detroit Lion. Charles Harris took a pay cut to stay a Detroit Lion. Jack Fox, Tracy Walker restructured their deals to help out the Detroit Lions. These three players in particular that took pay cuts that could either have been cut or come back at lesser salaries. I am always intrigued by that because this is a business.
Yeah.
If you are a player in the NFL or in professional sports, you are just a number. Usually, I hate to say it like that, but that's what it is. That's a business. It's a business decision.
Truth hurts.
And a lot of times, most times, we as fans, we as media, say the players are greedy for going out and getting maybe what they feel like they deserve. When in reality, each and every single one of us probably would go to the job that pays us more money if we had the ability to.
100%. Would you rather work at McDonald's or would you rather work at,
Burger King?
No, Joe Muir.
Right. Exactly. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, how unique is it that you don't have one guy, but you have a series of guys?
They took huge cuts, too.
Huge pay cuts to stay with the Detroit Lions. Now, this is something I don't think we've seen really with this franchise. How common is this around the league? And what has your experience been in something like this? Because I love this because it shows really what the Detroit Lions are building. But at the same time, man, I always am hesitant because they will cut you real quick. You go get your money.
This is true. I mean, the interesting thing about it is usually when you see situations like this, these are franchises that are winning and have been winning for a while, like teams that are like the Kansas City Chiefs that are in the playoffs, or teams consistently in the playoffs, and you know where you're going to be at the end of the year, still having a chance to show off your skills, etc. It usually doesn't happen to a team like the Detroit Lions, who 2 years ago were 3-13-1. Last year, great finish, still didn't make the playoffs. Usually it does not happen with teams like that. These are deals and situations where, the owners sit down, hey, look, Vitae, hey, look, Okora, you guys are really good players. We appreciate what you've done, but right now we're not willing to pay you this. We like what you're doing. We want you to be a part of this thing. I mean, you essentially were here from the beginning, but we're not willing to pay you that. But we are willing to come to this and see how this thing goes, see how we can get you paid next year. And I think the fear of, if you look at it, the teams that you're trying to go to, the agent is probably telling Vitae, or agent is telling Okora, hey, look, man, I mean, you guys have been injured the last 2 years. You played the Detroit Lions 2 years ago. They were 3-13-1. This doesn't look good trying to get you paid or to what you're used to, what you think you're going to get paid, or what you think you're worth. So it might not be a bad look to, take this $6 million pay cut for a team that's ascending the right way, and it seems like they respect you. So if you do what you're supposed to do on the football field, they're going to reward you next year. They're going to reward you handsomely, and you get a chance to continue to build, or at least you still get a chance to put a product out there on the football field this year so that you can get paid somewhere and make some money versus, you know what, I'll pass on that, release me. Now nobody picks you up. Now nobody has picked you up, and now you're looking to sign for anything. I've been on that situation where I had one deal, thought I was going to get another deal, said, I'll back off on that deal, and then eventually I didn't get what I thought I could have gotten, and now I'm grasping at straws, and they're going to be grasping at straws. So right now, it's a great look for the Detroit Lions. They got guys that are willing to take that pay cut for a team that hasn't made the playoffs yet, but that are good players as well. This is a good sign for the Detroit Lions.
Both of those guys.
Solid take,
Okora and Vitae.
It's a solid take.
Okora and Vitae coming off bad injuries. They didn't play at all last year, basically.
Yeah.
So if they go on the open market, Bray, they're going to have to go through a battery of tests, physicals, all those kind of questions. The Lions know what they got. And the Lions say, look, we're willing to take a chance on bringing you back, knowing that, hey, one hit, one play, Vitae's got a bad back. one hit, one bad play for him, and he's out for the year again. But they're only paying him $3 million instead of $9.5 million. Or Quora, what did he have, an Achilles last year?
Achilles, yeah.
I mean, hell, look how long it takes to come back from there. They're probably not going to use him a lot, but for the money they brought him back for, it's well worth it. And both guys are going to be playing for a team that likes to keep their players. They like to keep their players. So it's a win-win for both the player and the team.
And it's ultimately a win for the Detroit Lions. When you look at this situation right now and you see that when you see that, Fletch, get me on the one screen for me real quick. When you see that
Matt's taking
I know, I'm like, I'm over here, I'm in my zone right now.
I'm glad I wasn't picking my nose.
Not messing with you. Yeah, when you see the Detroit Lions making moves like that, and man, that's an excellent point. You know, these guys had injuries last year. These guys may not be up to snuff, or they may not be able to put their best foot forward in some of these physicals or some of these workouts, etc. Other players around the league are looking at that. Other players around the league are like, damn, the Lions take care of theirs. Like, that's one of the things as a player, Ryan, that's the situation you're always looking for as a player, whether you're a first-round draft pick, undrafted free agent. When you get into this league, you want to be in a franchise, you want to be on a team, you want to be with management that take care of their players, that understand their players, that are willing to be there for their players. Those are the teams that guys give it all to. Those are the teams that win championships. The guys that can be around and play in moves like that and situations like that. When teams take care of their players, players are dying to get here. And then you see, Cam Sutton, and it goes back to the free agent signings, you see their introductory meeting or their presser, they're dying to get here. And the players that are here, they're dying to stay here. We keep saying it. I mean, I don't know how many times we got to say it. People want to be in Detroit, whether they're here already or whether they're coming from another team.
And that's evidenced by the fact that Graham Glasgow comes back to the Detroit Lions, and so does Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Yep. He returns to the Lions as well. I mean, the veteran linebacker, special team star, he's back with a second stint for the Detroit Lions. And again, we mentioned this before, Bray. Guys talk.
Yeah.
Glasgow, Reeves-Maybin, they're not coming back to the organization that they once knew. This is a brand new experience for them, a brand new Lions, and they want to be a part of it. I think that's really intriguing.
Yeah, 100%. There were a couple players that were with the Jets. There were a couple players that were with the Jets in 2006, 2007, and they came back in 2010, and they were just surprised at how things had changed from Eric Mangini under Rex Ryan. Guys want to come back. Guy like Maybin's a special teamer. Special teamers, there's a market for special teamers in the NFL. You got guys like Slater. Slater's played special teams his whole life. Everybody respect. He's one of the best special teams players of all time. People respect him. Those players go to teams, one that they can make the roster on, but even bigger than that, once they start making money, they go to special teams where they winning, where they're gonna win, where they have a chance to win, where they're gonna be in the Super Bowl. Special teams is in a huge part. It's a huge part of the team. It's three phases in a game. Three phases to a game. It's offense, it's special teams, and it's defense, man. Special teams is a part of it. So when you got special teamers that are coming here, think about just being a special teams guy who plays on a losing team. Who wants to do that?
Yeah.
Who wants to do that? Well, I'm not going to be on offense or defense. At least my special teams, we could be kicking some ass when I'm not.
Look at Bill Belichick. Yeah. It's so special to him that he runs the special teams in New England.
And signed, a lot of people believe Chris Board was the number one special teams player in the free agent market this offseason, and gave him a deal.
Shoot, like Chase Winovich from University of Michigan, they pegged him as a special teams player, guy that went, and that's what he's been doing since he's been there, so around the league. But it's very important.
You know, I look at Vaitai and Glasgow too. I mean, the two really key pieces of this whole thing too. We talk about the offensive line and making what you do greater, and this team really has built their fronts,
the trenches.
It's just been a strength. It's been no secret how to win in football over decades, and the Lions, I smile because I'm just so happy about it. I'm geeked. I just want the season to start now, and I just don't want to be let down. I don't want to come out of the gate 0-2 call for Dan Campbell's firing, and Brad Holmes can't be a general manager. He can't pick. You know what I mean?
Those days are over.
I think they are too.
Yeah.
I do think they're over.
They definitely are over because even before, let's say like right now, where we are right now is Detroit Lions. This is before April 23rd, April 24th, the draft. This is even before then. You're already in a space right now. You know you got a very, very good offensive line. As it's constructed now, you have a very good offensive line. As it's constructed now, you got 4 running backs. One of them we believe can be a guy to have 1,300 yards rushing for the team. As it's constructed right now, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is that close to making a Pro Bowl. His targets, his efficiency, his completions percentage rate, you that close. As the team is constructed right now, you got 4 tight ends. You got Jameson Williams. You got Josh Reynolds on the outside, and then defense has gotten better. You've built it through paying for the free agents that you wanted, being able to pull them in. As it constructed right now, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's only going to get better once the draft happens and once a couple more free agent moves are made. So Detroit Lions fans, there's nothing to be scared of right now.
I'm not worried, but
yeah,
you said it right. They need a wide receiver, and that's on the list. I don't believe that they're done yet. Chark's still out there. Marvin Jones, I'm hearing buzz about his name out there as well. So I really believe they will bring in the next move they do. We'll talk to Mike O'Hara in a few minutes. I think they target a wide receiver here in the next move.
I'm curious to see what they do with that. Again, I do think that DJ Chark is a perfect wide receiver in this offense right now. I love Marvin Jones, but I'd prefer Chark over Jones if I had to pick one.
But talk about a guy that would come back.
Everybody
It's
wants
another guy that wants to come back.
Everybody wants to be a part of this thing. Everybody wants to be a part of this thing. And not only that, people love living in Detroit.
Yeah.
Professional athletes love being in Detroit. The city takes care of you. It's a huge sports town. If you win, you're royalty. And I think people want to be a part of that. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we
Not
come
a bang for your buck in Detroit.
That's right. No doubt about it. We're going to talk to Mike O'Hara, DetroitLions.com. We'll hit on all angles with Mike. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Custom Health Centers. Custom Health Centers helped me lose 20 pounds. It was my target weight loss goal, and I've reached it. Custom Health Centers takes the willpower out of weight loss, whether it's 20 pounds, 120 pounds. Custom Health Centers has the solution for you. All you have to do is take the first step. Call this number right here, 844-789-THIN, 844-789-THIN.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan.
Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals in town. Plus, they will beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Hey, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com, Fox2Detroit.com. However you are consuming Woodward Sports, maybe it's YouTube. Go ahead and give us a like if you're watching on YouTube right now. That helps us push our content out to more people. We'd certainly appreciate that. Also, if you are listening to us podcast form, tell a friend about us. Subscribe to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz on Apple, Google Play, however you do that situation.
You notice we're getting a new TV put in here?
Yeah, we're getting a new TV.
Yeah, we're getting a new TV.
Making a little bit of money over here to buy new TVs.
Yeah.
How about it?
How about it?
Look at that.
We still
do we have
making
Mike?
Anything?
No, not yet. Okay, sorry.
We're making something?
We'll get Mike O'Hara momentarily. I do want to announce for you that the dates have been announced for the 2024 NFL Draft.
There it is.
The Detroit Sports Commission put it out. April 25th, 26th, 27th, 2024, the NFL Draft in Detroit. How cool is that? Looking forward to it. So it is the final weekend in April.
I'm excited about that, man. You know, we've talked about that. We found out last year, and you see the steps that Detroit are taking. You know, we talk about Hard Knocks last year. This year, obviously, the Lions played well, and then next year, you get the NFL draft. City's moving in the right direction. The best thing about it, though, you want your team to be good when things are happening. Like, you don't want your team to be like that team where they're just throwing you a bone. They're just like, man, look at this pathetic city. Look at this pathetic team. Here, we'll do something for you. And then when you're there, things are bad or fans can't really enjoy. You want your home city to be, you want your team, your home city, to be fighting for the playoffs, fighting for the Super Bowl, doing things that people respect. So when fans from out of town come into your city, it's like, man, those damn Lions are tough, as opposed to, you know what I'm saying? So I think we're here with the Detroit Lions, and we especially will be then.
I want to pick 32nd next year.
I know, can you imagine?
New uniforms and pick 32nd.
The Super Bowl champion Detroit Lions. Unbelievable. Who would have thought we'd even be talking like that? Let's go to the phones. Bring in one of the greats, Mike O'Hara, DetroitLions.com, longtime Lions writer, on Twitter at Mike O'Hara NFL. Mr. O'Hara, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Hey, Ryan, good to be with you. Braylon, you
Hey,
too.
Mike, how's it going?
How about me, Mo?
Well, I'm thinking it over.
Everybody always gets masked up, man. I love it, man.
Hey, Mike. Before I get into the team, I want to ask you about your thoughts on the NFL draft. We just announced the dates, April 25th through the 27th. I think I could be crazy on this, but I think outside of the Super Bowl, having your city host an NFL draft might be the second biggest event a city can host. More so than the Final Four, more so than anything. What do you think of that?
I don't know about that.
I don't know about the Final Four. That's a pretty big event, but it kind of builds up, and you really don't know who you're going to get, though, until the week before the game.
And
so
you only got 4 of them. And only 4 teams are interested in coming. This one, you got 32 cities interested in coming to yours.
Well, it's 32 cities, and it's a 3-day event, too. And it's a 3-day television event, plus the build-up and all that. I'll tell you one thing, it's a heck of a get for the Detroit Lions and the city of Detroit. Rod Wood, the president of the Lions, did an awful lot of work on this, and it's a coup. It really is. I think I think it's something with an up-and-coming franchise. When you say up-and-coming for a franchise, it's been in business since 1934, but now they're coming along. I think it's a real get. I really do.
Mike, what do you make all the love the Lions are getting this offseason, the offseason that Brad Holmes has had, and everybody nationally just fawning over this team right now?
Well, Braylon can probably speak to this better than I can, but enjoy it while you can, because as soon as you get the first overthrow on 3rd and 10, what are you talking about? Why don't you run the ball?
Tell him, Mike.
Or whatever. That's just part of the game. But I'll tell you what, they're in a good spot. They've got good young players. They've got a good coaching staff, and they've got an organization now that's in cohesion from the top. Sheila Hamp, the owner, right on down to the guys who work in the locker room. It's really they've really kind of put something together here in a short period of time.
Mike, you're absolutely correct. I tell these guys, man, once you start getting noticed, once people are looking at you, once the eyes are on, nobody cares about you when you're sorry. Nobody cared about the Lions last year, the year before that, or the Browns, etc. But once you start winning games, once people start notifying you get on that radar, much harder to play under that pressure. It is much harder to play under that pressure. Mike, I'm going to throw 4 positions out for you. For the Detroit Lions, I'm going to tell you which one you think the Lions need.
You better do it one at
a time. Hold it a second.
4 positions.
I don't have that kind of memory.
No, 4 positions. I'm going to tell you which one you think the Detroit Lions need the most. Defensive tackle, linebacker, wide receiver, running back. Those are the positions I think they need the most. Which one of those do you think they actually need the most?
I'd say defensive tackle, because you can really make an impact on the game, and it impacts more of the people around. Look, running back, if you've got people talk about it being devalued, it's just devalued in terms of what you pay the running backs these days. But still, they're one of 11 out there, and they're just as valuable, if not more so, than the others. But I think a defensive tackle, if you really got a good one, he can really dictate an awful lot of things more than the other positions that you named. All important, though. They really are, but I'd take a defensive tackle.
Mike, I apologize for setting you up to take the bait you did. So with that being said, if Jalen Carter is there at 6, are we taking Jalen Carter at 6, knowing that he can be a game record for the Detroit Lions defense for years to come?
Yeah, here's the thing with him, and everybody knows he's got problems and red flags and probably white flags and green flags and every flag known to man. But I'll tell you one thing: if you take a kid like that and Dan Campbell, who, look, I covered him as a player here for a couple of years in Detroit, got to know him just a little bit, just a tough guy, smart, razor smart. I think a player sitting down in front of Dan Campbell for an hour, I think he's going to buy what Dan is selling, because it's sincerity, it's been there, it's the whole thing. And I think if he does, and he's your guy and he's your player, and you've changed his life for him, I think you've got a heck of a player for a decade. And I think if that to me is, but the risk you take is, he's nodding his head, he said, yeah, and really not listening to a word you say. So I think it's a tough line to walk, but I would not be against it at all. I really would not.
My man, Michael.
Yes. Totally agree with you, by the way.
Yes, I agree with you.
I think you're in the majority there, Mo, on him. I want to just go back to free agency for a minute. They've really done a hell of a job, especially with C.J. Gardner-Johnson coming over here. I think that was a coup to bring him over from the Eagles. I think he's going to make that secondary something special. I want to ask you about DJ Chark. He's out there, wide receiver. There's still a need for this team. Do you see them still signing a free agent wide receiver? If so, who do you think? Or do they wait and draft a rookie?
Well, I don't think Chark is out of, I don't think he's, unless something's happened in the last hour that I haven't seen, because I'm busy doing something. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they bring him back. And look, he's not a 90-catch guy. He's not going to carry up it. But when he gets the ball, he's going to make big plays for you. He's got good hands. He can get down the field and catch the ball in the air and make a lot of plays for you. So I would not close the door on him coming back. I think you need a home run hitter with size, and he fills that role.
How about on the running back side, when they bring David Montgomery in, they let Jamal Williams go? A lot of words there. Jamal said they undersold him. The Lions said we gave him a deal. He just kept waiting and waiting. Who knows what the truth is, somewhere in the middle, though. But to get David Montgomery now and to pair him with DeAndre Swift, that's a pretty formidable backfield, at least for this year. Do you see them perhaps maybe drafting a running back, maybe a Bijan Robinson, if he happens to slip it to a spot?
Well, I really like Bijan Robinson. I just don't see it happening in Detroit. I think he'll be gone in that range of like 11 to 15, something like that. And the Lions at 18. I just don't think it's the right spot. I don't think they're in the right spot to get him and do the other things they need to do and can do. But I like Montgomery. I really do. I liked him when he was with Chicago. He's not a speedster, but he's got a knack for missing tackles. He's kind of slide through things. He's got great balance, good hands. And as much as I like Jamal Williams, and I really did, he was a great guy to have around. I think he did overplay his hand. I think he thought he could get more, and they weren't kidding when they said, "Well, this is what we're offering." And so, they turned to Montgomery in a minute, or even probably less than a minute. I think they got a good player there. You look at his 4 years, drafted in the second round out of Iowa State. You look at his 4 years with the Chicago Bears, and he had 3 of those seasons in the middle, 800 yards rushing, and one with 1,000 and something. I mean, that's first of all, that's production, but that's also consistency too. And there's an old line: "Consistency, thou art a jewel," and that is a jewel when you've got a player like that who you can really count on what you're going to get from him. Now, he's also been fairly injury-free. He's only missed 6 games out of whatever it was, 62 or whatever, or 68, something like that. So he's been productive. He's been available, and he's been a good player. So I think it was another good get for the Detroit Lions.
Talking to Mike O'Hara, DetroitLions.com, Lions beat reporter. Mike, a couple of years ago when the Lions, I believe they signed Chase Daniel. Was it Chase Daniel, backup quarterback before the draft?
Yeah.
Everybody knew at that point the Lions weren't going to draft a quarterback, whether they were or weren't.
They didn't.
They didn't, and teams around the league knew that they weren't going to draft a quarterback. Do you anticipate they wait until after the draft to sign a legitimate backup quarterback?
That's a great question. I wish I had the answer. One of the things, I was running this over with one of Tommy and I's great friends, Kenny Brown. I just kind of think of all the scenarios there, and I think there's one that I think could be in play. Now, this is not based on information or inside knowledge or anything. This is strictly out of between the two holes in my head, my ears. And I think look, teams know, the front offices know what everybody in the league is making, all the salaries and all that, and they might see one or two or three semi-veteran quarterbacks who are going to be vulnerable to being released after the draft. The guys who played, maybe like Trubisky, somebody like that. And I'm not saying it is him, but somebody like that has been in the league, 4, 5, 6 years, has starting experience. And when the draft is over, all of a sudden he's vulnerable, and bingo, he's on the market for you. So they might be looking for something like that. There might be 2 or 3 guys like that in their minds that are interchangeable. Doesn't really matter all that much which one they get, as long as they get one. And they also could have a plan to do something before that. But I just think I don't think they're going to go into the season with another David Blau. I really don't. Much as I like David Blau, terrific guy. Yeah, Rudolph possible. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, we brought this up yesterday, too, and Daniel Jeremiah from the NFL Network put out a mock, and I think this would be the absolute worst-case scenario for the Detroit Lions if Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Anderson, and Jalen Carter go in the top 5. Those 3 marquee quarterbacks and those 2 marquee defenders. Yeah. What do you do if you're the Detroit Lions in that case? I mean, do you the corners were mocked to the Lions in every mock draft, whether it's Weatherspoon or Christian Gonzalez. But do you think they go in that direction with the signings that they've had this offseason?
Well, first of all, I've done 2 mock drafts. I've got a third one coming up. In one of my mocks, I had Christian going to the Detroit Lions at number 6. So you hurt my feelings.
Well, now post free agency, if you have Christian mocked at 6, then I'm really going to be upset. But I don't know what you do if these 5 guys are gone.
Well, you know what you do? You take the best player on the board, and it's Tyree Wilson.
Yeah.
And I think he was in my second mock draft. He's the one I took. And I can't tell anybody this, but I'm sort of leaning that way in my third mock draft, too. I think he's a terrific player. Look, he's 6'6", 270. He can move. Is he going to get you 12 sacks a game? Probably not. He's going to control his area. He's going to be a good guy up and down the line. And I think he'd be regardless, who goes if they get him, no matter how. I think he'd be a good get for the Lions.
Let me ask you about a couple of draft picks last year, Mike, if you've heard about anything about their progress. One, obviously, is Jameson Williams, and 2 is Josh Pascal. Those 2 players feel like free squares, extra draft picks that this team is going to get this year if healthy. Where are they? How are they coming along? Do you know anything about them?
Well, you don't know anything about them since the end of the season because they're not out there at Allen Park working out or anything like that. I'm sure they're working somewhere, but not where we can see them. But Paschal, look, don't undervalue him. He really made some big time plays for the Lions. Just wasn't on the field long enough. Look, he was, he had some sort of injury coming in, kind of delayed him getting on the field and affected him the rest of the season to some degree. But I thought that, as it turned out, a good player for the Lions. And Jameson Williams, look, got a world of ability. I don't know if he's got the greatest, stickiest hands, but he's going to make some big plays for him. He really is. Got a little bit of show me in him. That's okay. Braylon, that's okay with you, isn't it?
Oh, 100%.
With a little.
Hey, 100%. It happens, man. I can stick hands like that, yeah.
You didn't invent it, but you bought it early. So anyway,
this is true.
But I think that might be the reason that they're not making a move on another wide receiver in free agency, because they know what they have in them.
Mo, last one. Are they going to take a quarterback somewhere in this draft? And if so, who do you like in the later rounds?
I like the guy from Tennessee,
Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
we all like him.
He put together some really good stats before he got hurt. He got hurt, the last week of the season? Something like that?
Yeah, he got hurt. He got hurt in the last quarter. It was like 2 minutes, 3 minutes left in the Alabama. Oh, no, Georgia game.
Yep.
Yeah. No, he's got ability. He's got good size, and I like him. To some degree, we'll see. But I don't think that would be a bad pick for the Lions. Third or fourth round, somewhere in there. I mean, they'll be able to get some sort of feeling on where he's going. Where the point is that they cannot go beyond if they want to get him. But aside from that, they need a veteran backup quarterback. A starter in Jared Goff, a veteran backup, and then somebody to develop whoever it is.
The great Mike O'Hara, you can follow him on Twitter at Mike O'Hara NFL, DetroitLions.com. You can read him there. Mike, when is that mock draft 3.0 coming out? I'm going to lead the show with it, and I'm going to target that number 6 pick.
Better not be Gonzalez.
Oh, Lord.
Well, my next one's April 3rd, then the final one will be just before the draft.
All right, you got it.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Mike. We
Mike,
appreciate the
always a
time, my friend.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me. Thanks for calling me the great Mike O'Hara.
The great Mike O'Hara.
The great Mike O'Hara.
Great Mike O'Hara.
Thanks, Mo.
No doubt. Respect. Mad respect. Thanks, Mike.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
You
All right,
bet.
all right.
Thanks so much.
You know how I start every text conversation with him?
I want to know.
Look.
Because that's the first word he says.
That's his word. That's his word.
Yeah,
Look.
look.
I call him Look.
I mean, Maz has these stories dating back, and these relationships dating back 30-plus years, man.
I think you got
so
the best
great.
story, and here comes another one.
Mo
Here
is the man. That's all I got to tell you. He is the great. What a great man.
No doubt about it.
The best show ever, the best story ever will obviously be you, retiring, getting the party. Or not retiring, but leaving, going to the next job, getting the party and everything, and then coming right back. And that will
That's
forever
the best story.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
One day, baby.
That's the
One
best
day
one.
when he lied.
I should have never left.
The best one.
Guys, we'll take a break. We'll react to a little bit about what Mike said. Also, Dave Birkett from the Free Press put out Mock Draft 3.0 today, who he has. And this goes back to something we discussed yesterday. And it goes back to that Daniel Jeremiah draft. We'll have that for you coming up. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. Looking for a way to elevate your dinner? Look no further than Fairway Packing. Family owned and operated since 1956. You could try their Burrata Blend Burgers, the award-winning Chop House Steaks, or impress your friends with a dry-aged Wagyu Tomahawk Steak. See why the top chefs in the country choose Fairway. Visit their steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods, one of my favorite places on earth. And I really mean that. I love it. You can order online as well. They ship anywhere. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com. Sourced, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots. He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry. Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Welcome back, WoodwardSports.com. So great to talk to the professor, Mike O'Hara. I mean...
Remember the real professor? The great John Clayton. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
That guy, man. Boy, was he so freaking good.
So can I tell you a quick Mike O'Hara story? One of the first times I ever met Mike O'Hara. Yeah. So do you remember Kurt Sylvester?
Of course. I still see him.
Kurt Sylvester was a longtime Lions writer for the Free Press.
Yeah.
And he was also a really he was really big into youth baseball.
Still is.
Kurt Sylvester was my baseball coach in my teenage years with travel baseball.
Okay.
His son Dan, a really good
Never
player.
came out the game.
Knew everything about the game. Well,
his granddaughter's a great softball
really?
player. So,
I didn't realize that.
Yep.
But so when I became an intern at Fox 2 in 1999, Kurt Sylvester, I was following him around at Lions practices. He was helping me show the ropes, and he would always call me Mr. Ermanni. And I'd always call him Kurt. It was just something that we used to do. So, I'm like, I'm at the Lions practices. I'm an intern at Fox 2.
You're a stud.
I'm a real big deal
big time out here.
What's up, Kurt? How you doing? So Kurt and Mike O'Hara, obviously buddies at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And Kurt says, Mike, I want you to meet former player of mine, Ryan Ermanni. Mike O'Hara. Hey, Mike. I said, hey, Mike. He said, you can call me Mr. O'Hara.
You got a little break for your britches.
Even a little bit now to this day, I did call him Mike in the interview, but even now I will.
You should have brought that up to him.
I know. I will refer to him as Mr. O'Hara.
That's funny. That's funny.
It's
he was
something.
I don't know what kind of Mickey Mouse organization these guys run, but I'm Mr. O'Hara.
Right.
I call Kurt Sylvester Mr. Sly. I don't know. I always called him Mr. Sly. Still to this day. I called them that. Back in the day, we were going to do a podcast, a show actually on WJR, and it was going to be Kurt Sylvester and Mike O'Hara. We were going to call it the Freepin News Show.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it never came to
fruition.
It would have been great. It would have been great.
I wonder why.
I love those guys. I love talking to those guys.
Those guys were great. I mean, those guys still are great. But I mean, man, just really cool stuff.
You guys are such media journalists, article, all that nerds. I love it.
Oh, totally.
And you guys are such broadcasting nerds. You guys would come here and geek out for 2 hours over.
Oh man, I can talk about the old
calls from years ago.
I can talk about the old Rob Parker column with fair or foul.
Get Rob.
Fair
Rob,
or foul.
We got to start having Rob on more.
Man.
We got to have Rob on more.
No doubt. Guys, I want to get to this Dave Birkett mock draft. And again, Fletch, I will ask you eventually. You can do this right now. Dave Birkett put out the NFL Mock Draft 3.0. Georgia's Jalen Carter on the board. Did the Lions bite? The answer is no.
No.
And let me put up this Daniel Jeremiah mock draft back up, because this, to me, was a scenario yesterday in which I thought, if these 5 players are off the board, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're doing audio only, it's Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson, Anthony Richardson, Jalen Carter. What do you do if you're the Detroit Lions? Well, in Birkett's mock draft, Jalen Carter is on the board, but they pass on him. And who do they pass on him for? The offensive lineman from Northwestern, Peter Skoronski. I'm telling you, I don't hate it. I would hate it to pass up Jalen Carter, but under this scenario, if these 5 players are gone, I do not hate taking the offensive lineman there.
He's got Carter going next pick.
Yep.
To the Raiders.
Yes. Now again, I would take Carter. But under this Daniel Jeremiah scenario, I don't hate the pick of Skoronski
because Jalen Carter's not available.
Because Jalen Carter's not available.
Skoronski. Here's the thing about it, and I wrote this down before we started the show. It kind of goes back to what we've been saying a little bit, especially now, yesterday, since we know the moves they made on the defense in free agency. They put themselves in a position where there's no necessary immediate need. 100%. What's the best need? D-tackle. You heard what Michael Harris said. Same thing I've been saying. Defensive tackle. That could be the last domino in terms of a major draft pick, a number 6 overall. If one of those guys were there, you could draft this guy. Defensive tackle adds so well to what they already have in Bugs and Aiden and Pascal and Houston. It adds so well to what they have. But at the same time, you look at what they're doing. Offensive line is well put together, but at some point, you're going to have to pay Taylor Decker. And nobody wants to pay Taylor Decker again. I don't think he's going to be worth it again second time around. So it's going to be an open spot for a lineman. That left guard side is open as well to a certain extent. Skoronski plays both. He plays both left tackle left tackle better, but he plays both. I think that position opens up at some point. You look at the quarterback. If no quarterback's there, you're not drafting a quarterback. If a quarterback's there, you like what Jared Goff is right now. I'm just saying they are in a situation. Now they go get Sutton. Now they go get Mosley. Now they go get C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Now they go get – it's like, secondary is even getting well on that side. Don't need to draft Christian Gonzalez necessarily or Witherspoon. It's so many picks that you can make now. What the Lions have, now the situation the Lions are in, I think it's a position where now you trust in what Brad Holmes can do, and you trust in saying that, you know what, Mel Kiper, the other guys, they've given him A+ over the last 2 years. Now is when you trust him to be Mel, because the Lions have put themselves in a good situation to not need anything right now.
And, Maz, what is this offense predicated on?
Protect the quarterback.
Protect the quarterback and run the football.
Yep.
And I think last year in 2022 – they had great health on that offensive line. And I know they had the guard situation, and Dan Skipper had to play, and they had to mix and match a little bit at guard. But you had Decker, Ragnow, and Sewell. It's a little bit easier to fill in those two guard spots when you have Decker, Ragnow, and Sewell being healthy for you essentially all year long. I know Ragnow missed a couple of games in there, but they were essentially healthy for you all year long. I don't know if you can bank on that kind of health this year from those three guys. Yeah. You're going to need some depth there. And
you got Vitae now.
And I know you got Vitae, you got Glasgow, you've got Jonah Jackson, who is going to come up for free agency next year. I believe next year they're going to have the money to pay him. So I don't hate taking the offensive tackle there if that Daniel Jeremiah draft. Now, if Carter is on the board, I am taking Carter because I believe that 6th pick, and it's one of the major reasons why I wanted a quarterback, is a boom or bust pick. It's a free square. You have the ability to then
why don't you reach?
Huh?
Then why don't you reach?
That's what I would do with Carter or Richardson.
I understand that.
They're both highly.
But the offensive guard isn't a reach.
But as he's saying, if he's not on the board, if Carter and
Carter's
Richardson on the board,
I know that, but there are other guys you can reach for.
No, I
don't
don't
have a high upside.
Like in terms of like who, like
a Tyree Wilson for
No, I think the offensive line take the best offensive lineman or the third best defensive.
I agree with you, Maz, but I'm just saying like if. I understand this too, because once again, I always go back to who's the Final Four. Like the way you want to construct your team, you want it to look something like the guys that are going to be there at the end. If you look at those final teams, they always got great linemen, man. They got great linemen in those positions, left tackle, left guard. I mean, you look at
Orlando Brown, what he got, the money he got to get the skip.
So Orlando Brown, you see what he got. You see Lane Johnson. I mean, you see Trent Williams is going to be there every year. These guys are the best of the best. Like these guys are the best at their position, and guess where they are? They're in the championships. Those guys in the championship game. You draft a guy like that, the guy is going to be a stud. I mean, that guy's going to be a damn good stud. You don't see it right away because when people think offensive lineman, you don't see sex with offensive lineman because you can't see an immediate product. You don't see touchdowns. You don't see interceptions. You don't see rushing yards or passing yards. But with offensive lineman, you know what you do see? You see your quarterback having success. You see your offensive lineman having success. If they go that route with Skoronski at 6, they're going to get Bijan Robinson somewhere 18 to 14. Like if Skoronski comes off the board at 6, I'm expecting to hear Bijan Robinson's name somewhere between 18 and 14 for the Detroit Lions.
How about this? You're at 6, and you know Bijan's probably going to go no worse than 10th to the Philadelphia Eagles. Why not reach 4 spots and get your running back of the future?
That's what I said yesterday.
Why not?
That's what I said yesterday.
Not only do you get him for 5 years, you got 4 years. Then you could tag him or keep him.
You're talking about get him at 6?
Yeah. If you're going to get an offensive lineman, then why not just to hell with it and just get your running back?
Because your offensive lineman is going to pay for you for 14, 15 years. He's going to give you 14, 50 years worth of hard work. Joe Thomas played for 13 years straight. Had one injury, came back another year and retired.
But we don't know how good Skoronski is.
No, we don't.
But linemen play long regardless.
Yeah, I know totally.
But linemen play long regardless.
Right.
Like you know, on a lineman that's going in the top 10, you're expecting you're going to get 10 or more out of him.
Right.
And quality years at that. And so I think Just like the players at wide receiver, at cornerback, have been the best that they've ever been, offensive linemen are coming into that as well. They're being stronger. They're able to move as well as they've ever been. So offensive linemen, that's pretty much a safe pick. Offensive lineman is going to be damn good. You draft in the top 10, they're going to play for you for 12 years.
I'm just going to say, you're going to look at the draft, and we're going to look back, and we're going to say, oh, we got Skoronski there. Look, 3 picks later, there's Bijan Robinson. Why the hell didn't we just take him? I
totally understand that. I totally understand that.
Skoronski is 6. 3 picks later would be 9. Nobody's drafting Bijan Robinson 9 in this particular draft.
Right. Maybe the Eagles at 10.
Why? Who moved back to 9?
Eagles at 10. I mean,
Chicago.
Show me the running back that you would say that about now. Let's not live in this future world. Let's live in this current world because it's only going to get worse. Show me the running back that currently exists that you're like, oh, we were this close. We were that close. CMC was almost out the league. No, you're not. I'm talking about at 6 overall.
Yeah.
Like CMC was almost another one of those casualty cases out the league. Saquon Barkley, we all were trying to trade Saquon Barkley as if we were the New York Giants front office. Dalvin Cook, we don't know what's left with Dalvin Cook. Was it Kevin O'Connell that couldn't get Dalvin Cook the ball last year? Or is Dalvin Cook not the same Dalvin Cook from 2-3 years ago? You don't know that. That running back, and I understand, Mike, there's still a need at running back, not at 6 overall of that.
Guys, let me ask you, is there a position, because just taking a quick glance at the chat, seems like nobody wants an offensive lineman there. Is there a
and they don't want Bijan either.
Is there a position you just don't want to see?
They don't want a quarterback.
At 6. For me, it's corner. I do not want to see a corner at 6. But I'm open for discussion. We will open the phones. 313-552-6322. That number again, 313-552-6322. Are you opposed to the offensive tackle at 6? Would love to hear your take on that. But first, a message from Lobster Pot.
Oh, Cousins Maine Lobster.
Cousins Maine Lobster.
And the Lobster Pot itself. The CousinsMaineLobster.com. Make sure you click on that QR code so it takes you right to their website so you can download their app right away, and you can find out exactly where their 2 food trucks are in the Metro Detroit area. The best seafood in New England, in Maine, except you're getting it right here in Detroit, USA. CousinsMaineLobster.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, SoldChristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at SoldChristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, 1 for you, 1 for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Hour number 2 here on WoodwardSports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey, Fletch, JB, having a little fun on a Thursday. We have this Dave Birkett mock draft. He's got the Lions passing on Jalen Carter and taking the offensive lineman from Northwestern, Peter Skoronski. And then at 18 coming back, taking the defensive end from Clemson, Miles Murphy. But that 6th pick, I haven't seen a lot of people suggest, Braylon, the offensive lineman there.
Yeah.
And I don't hate it.
It's one of those situations, man. You're talking about a guy that can be a game changer in the offensive guard. He plays tackle as well. Highest rated lineman in the draft by far. And you just look at what he can be, man. Look at he can be a piece. Lions offensive line, it's really good right now, but you're talking about Decker's missing time. Ragnar's missing time. Guys are getting older. Guys are having to get paid again. So you want to have a young guy that's going to be a stud. You want to have a guy that's – you guys always talk about these rookie deals. Well, here's your turns to get your stud. You see how these guys are moving. These guys play Rashawn Slaters of the world nowadays, man. You get these guys, and your offensive line goes to that next level. He's that guy. And then, hell, after his 4th year or 5th year, you can decide what you want to do with him. Maybe he's earned enough capital where he's a player, he's a piece where you can move. He's a piece where some teams want to give you this and that and the third for him, or he's a guy that you have on your team that gets you to that next level, the quarterback and the running game. So it can be an interesting value piece. Once again, when you put yourself in good situations for the draft, you can be open to many moves during the draft at that 6th pick overall.
Wait till 18 or the 2nd round to get your offensive line.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You have number 6. It's the last time you're picking in the top 6 in the next 10 years. Make it worth the while.
Everybody always says this is the last time you're going to be picking number 6 in the draft. Maybe not necessarily, though. As
you trade a player.
You trade players, you trade picks, like all that is. But to you, I understand what Maz is saying. This is the last time your team is going to finish this bad to where you can know you're going to see one of these top 10 picks. But this is the tricky NFL nowadays. You can find a way to get a first-round pick. I mean, I saw Broncos have none, didn't have 2. So it happens like that.
Guys, we got a full rack of calls here. Oh my gosh! Let's just go down the row here. Bring in Chris. How you doing, Chris? You are on WoodwardSports.com. Thanks for the call, buddy.
I appreciate y'all for taking my call. How y'all doing, fellas?
Real fine,
Chris.
How you doing?
I'm all right, brothers. I got a question, mainly because I don't get it. Because if guys like Kalijah Kancey is available at 6, I might have to go there because we still need a DC. I heard what you said, Braylon, about the offensive linemen and all that kind of stuff, but is that really a deep need that we have right now that we couldn't get later in the draft?
Well, I appreciate the call, Chris. And it's a great question. The question is for me, look, the Lions, no, that's not necessarily the need that I think that they need to go out and handle. I always have been a firm believer. Defensive tackle is the pick at 6. Defensive tackle is what you need. Defensive tackle is what can take that defense to the next level. It can take it over the top. So I'm a defensive tackle guy at number 6. I simply said what the Lions have done in the free agency so far in terms of bringing back players that have value to the team, the Lions don't necessarily need any immediate pick. They're in a position where they can pick a multitude of positions and be right, at that position. So this is when you trust Dan Campbell. Chris, this is when you trust Dan Campbell to be what you said he is. Oh my God, he got this guy and that guy, and look how this guy is playing, and look at these moves, and look at that move for this price. This is the time when we trust in Dan Campbell. I myself would not draft the offensive lineman, but you can get talked into any position group right now because of how well he's put this team together. That's what I think. Yeah.
Chris, you satisfied?
One last thing I want to say.
Kenley is a good one.
I'm definitely satisfied, but my only thing is like this. Is that a BPA kind of pick then at that point?
Best player available? I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is. You just look at your board and say, who is the best player available? I do think it is that, Chris.
Definitely best player available, but you put yourself in that position. So,
hey, Chris, thanks for the call, buddy. Really appreciate it. Call back anytime, okay?
All right, I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Chris.
You got
everything y'all do.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Let's bring in Donovan. Donovan, you are on WoodwardSports.com. Mazawey looking at me over there. How you doing, Donovan?
Woodward Sports.
I'm doing all right, fellas. I appreciate you for taking my call.
What's up, Donovan?
Appreciate you placing it.
Hey, I just want to really make a statement about the trenches, man. This is my first time hearing about us potentially taking an O-lineman with that 6th pick, and I'm honestly not mad at it.
I don't hate it either.
Because if you look at it last year, we saw what a great O-line did for a pretty average or regular running back with Jamal Williams, right? Gave him his best season of his career. So, Braylon, to your point, the running back is really – you don't really need a star running back nowadays. I mean, as long as you got that sure offensive line and you got enough weapons around your quarterback, I think we'll be fine. And also, D-line is where I prefer at that 6'6", but I'm not mad at the O-line either.
Yeah, not to mention, Donovan, I appreciate that too. But the guy that we brought in, David Montgomery from Chicago, this guy can run between the tackles. He can run outside the tackles. He gets away from tackles as well, which means he's a little faster than people give him credit for. He's 1,240 yards receiving in his 4 years, so he can catch the ball out of the backfield. It's not like we're trying to make some just okay average running back into a stud. He is a stud already. We just got him at a very, very, very good price point. So I think people are undervaluing that. David Montgomery, and don't forget, DeAndre Swift's still on your roster, ladies and gentlemen. So the running back field right now is in pretty good shape, Ryan Ermanni.
I don't consider 800 yards a year to be a special running back.
I didn't say special. I said, but he's already a stud. 800 yards here based on how many carries he's getting out there in Chicago. They haven't had an offensive line in 4 years. Last time they had an offensive line, their running backs were Tariq Cohen and Jordan Howard. And Jordan Howard had 1,400 and Tariq Cohen had 900. So he's a really good running back. Just played on a bad team.
I get it.
Bad coach, bad offensive coordinator. Everything was Matt Nagy. He just had a bad system over the past 3 years. He's definitely a damn good running back. He just needs a home, and I think he has one now.
Hey, I hope he's got it.
Yeah.
Donovan, you good? You got anything else quickly?
Yeah, really quickly. I know Maz just loves either a quarterback or a running back. I know you're in love with a quarterback at that pick, but I want to encourage you to go listen to that morning show if you haven't already. Adam, they ran through all the quarterbacks that in the past 10 years that were drafted, and it's very hard to hit on that pick. So I
get it.
I would encourage you to listen to
But Donovan, the last quarterback we took was Matthew Stafford
in the first round.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, it was pretty. That was number one, right?
It was the first pick overall.
Yeah.
They have not even tried to get a quarterback in the last 5 or 6 drafts.
What about what's her name from Friday? Felicia's son.
Bafferlat? Oh.
Felicia's son. Was it Kafka or what's his name?
Oh. Right, Kafka?
She's still struggling right now, man.
Yeah. Remember Kafka?
I do.
From Miami.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad.
Let me bring in Mac.
Thanks, Donovan.
Mac, you are on WoodwardSports.com. How you doing, Mac?
I'm doing good. How you fellas doing?
Appreciate you.
What's up, brother?
Yeah. I just want to say first, y'all need to stop it with the quarterback stuff. Okay, we need to fill that defensive line. I wouldn't mind a quarterback
Mac know
later
what I'm talking
on.
about.
Return to the Mac.
But
Khalil Mack.
That D tackle. At 6, I'm thinking if Carter is not there, I really would prefer to take a defensive tackle. I mean, let's just say Holmes doesn't. At least do it somewhere in the first 2 rounds. I really think we need to fill that hole. That's a big void in our defense if we don't do that. Not that I don't like the guys we have, but if it was up to me, I agree. At this point, I don't think we need a corner at 6. I still would take one, just not at 6. And I would take a defensive tackle. The next pick, I'm going best linebacker available in the first round, in my opinion, because I think we need to fill that area as well. But I'm not going to knock anything Brad Holmes does. Just don't do the quarterback in the first round.
Why not just sign Bobby Wagner instead of drafting some rookie? I mean, seriously.
Will Bobby Wagner want to come here? That would be my thing.
Wow.
Why wouldn't he?
I mean,
you never know with these
How
players.
you view Detroit isn't how he views Detroit yet. Potentially, Mass. I mean, that's maybe not why he wanted to come here. But, I mean, Bobby Wagner is somebody I want to come here. I've been wanting to come here for a while. I wanted him to come last year. He goes to the Rams. I want him to come this year. We re-signed Alex Anzalone. I just think you got to the point now where, the price point he's at, where Brad Holmes is at spending that money and where he's at saving that money. You paid Anzalone. You still got, Malcolm Rodriguez. You're going to draft a linebacker in the 3rd round probably because that's what the majority of the linebackers are graded at, 2nd and 3rd round. So they're going to draft a linebacker regardless of that. So I think where they're at, Bobby still will work. But I think for what he's doing, the money he's saving, he's already paid Anzalone. He's going to draft a rookie linebacker that'll be playing by week 7, week 8.
Hey, Mac. What if C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young are on the board at 6? You still hate taking the quarterback?
I don't hate it, but to me that's still a gamble. But I mean, I'm not going. You can't pass on talent. At that point, it's best talent available.
Yeah.
But the catch to it is does Brad Holmes consider that best talent available at the same time?
We'll see in April.
Fair enough. Hey, Mac, I'm up against it. I got to get a break in. Tom, Rodney, Elijah, stay put. I'll get there to you next. Plus, Braylon wants to talk about one player who is not here anymore. Who is leaving? We'll get to all that next, but first a message from the Folding Warehouse.
Yes, sir. Get on down to Hamtramck, Michigan. That's right. And make sure you go to the Folding Warehouse. It's like stepping back in time. Beautiful place. It is so much fun. 2 ways to play. $12.
Only
That's all it
$12?
costs you. That's it. $12 for unlimited open play or a private lane reservation for your own self and 10 or 12 others. You can put 12 people on a lane. That would run you $120, but for 2 hours, and you split that up, it's about less than $10 a head. Any drink you want. They have multiple full bars, plenty of beer. Over 100 beers on the beer menu, and the $2 mystery beer machine. Feel free to bring your own food in or have it delivered. Get your fold on at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh, wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
You're about to be shell-shocked. The catch of the day is in. Big Boy Seafood Fest is officially back. Join us for some of your favorites like our popcorn shrimp and pike perch platters and our classic fish and chips. This year, we've reeled in some fresh catches like our shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir fry, and our fish sandwich. And especially, don't forget about our all-you-can-eat Friday night fish fry buffet. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Now is the best time to join Planet Fitness. The gym that has always been known for being clean is now cleaner than ever. With tons of equipment, a full body workout, and a 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. But the best part about all this, you get it all just for $10 a month.
Only $10?
Yes, only $10. Now, Planet Fitness has more than 50 convenient locations around the Metro Detroit area, which means no matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness nearby. Join in club today, or as always, check them out online at planetfitness.com.
All right, gang, open up the phones in the last segment. We've been getting through some calls, and people have been kind enough to wait through the break to stay on hold. So I'm going to get through these calls as quickly as I can. Let me bring in Tom. How you doing, Tom? Is that DJ
Is
Tom
that
T?
DJ Tom T?
DJ Tom T in the house. What's up, Tom?
The one and only. The one and only. What's
Yes.
up,
Oh, the great Michael O'Hara, the one and only DJ Tom T.
Been with us since day one, DJ Tom T.
Yeah.
So yes, he gets the one and only DJ Tom T. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, guys. How are you all?
Doing great,
We're
my
doing
friend.
good.
We're not talking Maple Leafs, all right?
Hey, hold up.
I don't want to talk about that right now.
DJ Tom T actually does have some. We're going to get that in 2 seconds. DJ Tom T. All right, quick one with the Detroit Lions. Position that absolutely cannot be drafted. Ryan Ermanni says no DBs at number 6. DJ Tom T.
That includes douchebags too.
Well, I would say I will also say DBs only because Brad Holmes has done an excellent job this offseason of remaking the secondary. They got some studs back there. I just don't know that is the biggest position of need anymore. I think you would use the 6th pick in a draft on something you would need a lot more than an extra defensive back.
Not extra defensive back. What if I gave you a devil's advocate and said, "Hey, man, look, you got C.J. Gardner-Johnson there, you got Wilson. I mean, you got Cam Sutton over there. You got some players, but you still what?
Mosley,
et cetera, from 49ers. You got players, but you don't have that guy that's Witherspoon. You don't have that guy that's Gonzalez. What if somebody told you that? And this was coming off scouting. This is coming off what they saw at Pro Day. What if somebody told you that?
Well, I mean, if you go by the best player available philosophy, and if that guy's available at 6, then yeah, I guess so. It makes.
Got you.
But,
all right.
You know, I just think. I mean, gosh, I wish Carter didn't have all those issues going on because I mean, he's the real obvious one, right?
That's the taboo pick right there, Jalen Carter, man. What do? You know, you've seen examples where it's worked before. Warren Sapp, he gets in trouble. He goes from 2, he gets drafted at 13. He had a hell of a career, Pro Bowl career, won a Super Bowl. You've seen it happen with Randy Moss. Like, we've seen it happen with players, but at the same time, it also possibly wouldn't work as well, and I think that's the pushback. Tom, let's get into it. Shohei Ohtani, best talent at the position, at the baseball player of all time, but you have somebody who he's compared to that's on a poopy team that plays professional sports. Talk to me, T.
Connor McDavid. Generational
Edmonton
talent.
Oilers.
58 goals, I think he's got.
60.
60
as of last night. He scored
Wow.
60. What makes him special on the level of Shohei Ohtani? Tom, break it down.
This guy is doing things on the ice that nobody has seen in ever. I mean, period. He's a
Sidney
singular
Crosby?
great.
No.
He might be the most talented hockey player that ever played. Might be, and I think he's in the same boat as Ohtani. He's on a West Coast team that nobody watches. On a Canadian West Coast team that nobody watches.
I think the Edmonton Oilers were in the Western Conference Finals, and I didn't see him play.
NHL's got to get him out of there. Put him in New York.
Put him in Detroit.
Cool.
Give us another team up north.
That's a really good comparison.
Yeah.
It's a really good comparison, Shohei Ohtani. DJ Tom T, we love you, my friend.
Appreciate you, brother. Love you, brother.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
You got it. All
with you.
right, DJ. Hey, let's get to Rodney. Rodney, you're on WoodwardSports.com.
Good afternoon, fellas.
What's up, man?
Hey, Rod.
Hey, I'm from Flint, Michigan, man. I've been a Lions fan for 50 years.
The flying.
You know what? You know what, man? I'm 55 years old. It's a damn shame. I haven't been this happy since 91 when Barry was in his 3rd year. We should have got Warren Moon. I could have walked down there that year and just choked all of them. Because we would have had Super Bowls.
Warren Moon quarterback in those teams.
That would have been amazing. You know, my favorite quarterback is Warren Moon. Played with my dad my dad played with Warren and the Oilers. So
you had Herman Moore. You had a young Herman Moore, young Johnny Morton, Brett Perriman, the Blaze brothers, Spielman. Come on, man.
Hey, Rodney, let me ask you: are you excited about this year's team? And give us a call. Thanks so much for the support, buddy.
No problem, brother. Have a good day.
You too. Let me get to Jerry. Jerry, you're on WoodwardSports.com. How you doing, Jerry?
Rodney had a good one. That was a good one.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Real fine. Real fine.
I'm calling from Florida. The guy's complaining. I've been watching. I'm 71. I remember the Fearsome Foursome, Milt Plum, all those guys.
Oh, yeah.
The reason I'm calling is why aren't we looking at Chad Henne as a backup? He just retired.
That's because he retired.
He just retired.
Hey, I'm sure he wants to play. He did a damn good job when he came in for Cincinnati game.
I mean, you know what? That actually, it's not a bad idea. If Dan and Jerry, appreciate your calling all the way from Florida. If Dan Campbell wanted to make a move like that, reach out to Chad Henne, it wouldn't be a bad one. You see what he was able to do as backup in the playoffs last year.
Why would he want to leave Kansas?
Right, I know. If you're gonna play,
listen, man. I'm just talking to Jerry. I'm just pleased to say you want to reach out.
If you're trying, right?
I
see you working down there. I see you working down there.
It wasn't a bad person to call, man. It's not a bad call.
Hey, Braylon's gonna Braylon will let Chad Henne stay at his house if he comes and becomes the backup for the Lions. Hey, Jerry, thanks so much. I got to get to this last. Appreciate you, buddy. I got to get to this last call here. Elijah, you're on WoodwardSports.com. How you doing, Elijah?
How you boys doing?
Real fine, thank you.
I feel the Lions should take Anthony Richardson.
Why?
It's the last time I feel like the Lions going to be in the perfect position to grab a quarterback, and Brad Holmes is leaving that backup quarterback spot open. It only makes sense. He might as well for the year. Let golf do golf. I love golf, but I feel like the turnovers might hit him at the worst time.
I don't. Obviously, Elijah, I am in full agreement with you, and I can't thank you enough for the call and your support here at Woodward Sports. I'm in full agreement with you.
I doubt he'll be there at 6.
That wasn't Elijah Moore, was it?
And again, and I say this with Anthony Richardson. I say it with Jalen Carter. You'll hear me say it a bunch more times.
Yeah.
If either one of those two guys is on the board at 6, you got to take them. You can't pass up Anthony Richardson, and you can't pass up Jalen Carter. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
That pick is perfect for you to boom or bust.
So why not take the remaining quarterback, and you know who I'm talking about?
Well, because
Will Levis.
Yeah.
Again, that's a Brad Holmes thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. They might not like Will Levis.
Okay.
You don't take a quarterback just to take a quarterback. You take a quarterback that you believe could be an elite starting quarterback.
I'm just throwing it out
in the
there
NFL.
so the chat can get all over
right.
it. That's all.
Well, you said they were going to take Malik Willis as well in the first round.
Yeah.
Clown emoji.
Clown emoji. I got suckered.
I'm getting cooked.
Mike Tomlin loved him, so why shouldn't I have loved him?
Smoke screen.
Yep.
Yeah, smoke screen. Yeah, I mean, we can argue about this, Anthony Richardson or quarterback till we're blue in the face. The big thing for me is it's now for the Detroit Lions. It's this year, it's next year. This year and next year, you got Jared Goff. You got him both years, and you got him pretty damn cheap. So if I'm you, I don't need to go get a quarterback, take a reach at 6, where I can go get a player at 6 that can actually contribute to an NFC championship this year, who can contribute to an NFC championship next year, and possibly a Super Bowl. That's just how I look at it, man. You gotta have the guy in that middle, man. Like, I think Kancey's another guy that's coming up.
Clown emoji, clown.
Want to win this year or next year? Anthony Richardson ain't gonna be ready to win this year. He ain't gonna be ready to win next year.
Hey,
next year.
We're going around the NFL. We'll do it next, including a former Detroit Lion on the move.
Ooh.
But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. That's right, Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 50 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC, same great service that customers have come to know. You can go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. Of course, looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, standing strong for over 50 years. Find the brand you want under one umbrella. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new road.
Find them.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment's got everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, you know who to call. You know what time it is. Give Alta Rental a call today at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. 844-GO-TO-ALTA. Braylon's laughing at me.
You know what time it is.
You know what time it is.
Side note, man, I definitely caught why you smiled after our first call. You was like, "What's up, brothers?" I knew why you left. I wrote it down too, so I wouldn't forget. It was funny. Like, "What's up, brothers?"
So good.
I love it.
Yeah, it was good energy. It was. I wrote his name down too. It was Mark.
Mark.
Have we ever, before we go around the NFL and tell you the Lion that's on the way?
That's right.
Matt. Sorry, Matt.
God, I have a terrible memory. I can't think of a time where we've had so many different players mocked to the Lions this high. I mean, you literally have a quarterback, an offensive lineman, a defensive end, a defensive tackle, a cornerback. I mean, there are so many. Now, I'm not talking about picking at 20. I'm talking about picking in the top 10.
Yeah.
There are so many different players. Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, Tyree Wilson, Anthony Richardson.
You got a point.
Pete Skoronski, Devin Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez. I mean, I've never seen it.
I I think the last time I've seen, because to your point, when we're drafting Matt Stafford was the pick. The pick was in, months ago. When you drafted Calvin Johnson, that pick was in months before.
And then Ndamukong Suh, that
pick was in. You look at it, maybe Mike Williams. Maybe Mike Williams was the last one. When you look at Mike Williams, went 10 overall in 2005, and was it going to be Mike Williams? Was it going to be who was it? Sean Merriman. Was it going to be DeMarcus Ware? Was it going to be? There was some ones in that class. That was interesting. It was wide receivers. Was it going to be this guy? So that was an interesting one too. But maybe Charles Rogers.
I don't know.
Charles is man.
I don't have the greatest memory, but I'm trying to draw on past experiences, and nobody knows. Nobody's any idea which way they're going to go with this pick, and we kind of talk in circles so many times it feels like, because we're grasping at straws. I'm grasping at straws.
Can you imagine if we had the 5th pick? The 5th pick.
Be a little bit easier. You just slot Jalen Carter or Anthony Richardson there.
You'd be sitting in the catbird seat.
To me, that's what I would have done.
But, you guys are in a much better position. Look at we are in a much better position at 6 than, say, the Carolina Panthers are at 1. Because you talk about the Carolina Panthers, and that's something I know you're going to bring out when we go around the NFL. Yep. The Carolina Panthers have basically moved up. They've moved up. And now they're going to take C.J. Stroud.
They might.
C.J. Stroud's a pick at 1. They're not picking anybody.
They're at Alabama's pro day today. The coach, the GM, the owner, they're all there.
But C.J. Stroud has no ifs, no what ifs for them.
You got what ifs on him.
No, I have what ifs about him, but the what ifs. I have what ifs on C.J. Stroud. The what ifs are, I didn't see him win the big game. You see him lose 2 times against Michigan. He's playing at Ohio State, where they have the best wide receivers in the country every year for the past 5 years. You look at who they're playing against, not comparable DBs. They're always open. Now, what quarterback is going to be able to sit there in the pocket in the NFL and throw the ball like C.J. Stroud has done at Ohio State, like Justin Fields was able to do at Ohio State? It changes once you get into the NFL. So those are my pushbacks. Him throwing people open, throwing players open, when players can't separate. How do you place the ball? Things like that. When it's third and little things like that. But those aren't major concerns. Like Bryce Young, everyone calls him too small. 1 hit, he's out. That's a real fear. If you fear that your quarterback isn't big enough, not big enough to play in the NFL game, that's a real fear. Anthony Richardson. Don't know if he knows enough. Don't know if he'll be ready enough. Doesn't know if he'll be a project enough. Will Levis, you don't know if he has the big arm, but is he too big? Is he in love with working out? Is he in love with himself? How can he play amongst other players? C.J. Stroud allows you just, we just got a quarterback that we know is going to be pretty good. He won't we know he won't necessarily be a bust. We know he won't necessarily be great, but he's good enough for this 4-year run as we're trying to get our program together. That's a real decision to make. Carolina, I'd much rather be Detroit at 6 than Carolina at 1.
Speaking of Carolina, they were at C.J. Stroud's pro day yesterday. You're going to get to see Frank Reich. You're going to get to hear him, and Josh McCown, who was one of the coaches there in Carolina. Listen to what they talk about with C.J. Stroud.
Spun it well, bro. That was great.
I'll be there, I think, 17th. Let's see. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming, man. This is a lot. I appreciate you.
See you. We'll find a court. Play some horses.
It's right here. Come on.
Okay.
Well, no, maybe I got to do a little meeting. We'll find out. All right. See you, buddy. I'm going to take his money.
So if you weren't able to make it out, Josh McCown says, when you're living in Charlotte, we'll find a court. And, how many times were you told, Braylon, you were going to be picked by somebody?
See, it's different to answer your question a bunch. Yeah. But it's different when the wide receiver coach from the Tennessee Titans is telling you that. It's different when the quarterback's coach from the Minnesota Vikings is telling you that. It's different when offensive coordinator from the Chicago Bears is telling me that. It's different when the head coach, the GM, the quarterback's coach, the owner, the coach's wife. It's different when you see that. Did you see how they were staring at C.J. Stroud? Yeah. Enamored with C.J. Stroud. More so exactly right. Kind of like what I said wasn't even the truth. Kind of like all they saw was, and I get it with C.J. Stroud. If you think about it like this, we keep talking about he didn't win the Oregon game, He still had 458 yards in that game. That wasn't his fault. It was the defense's fault. You look at the Michigan game, it was like, yeah, he lost to Michigan twice, didn't show up in the second half of Columbus. He had 350 and 2 touchdowns 2 years ago. He had 325 and 2 touchdowns this past season. He still has played well. You look at the Georgia game. Everybody thought that was going to be a massacre because of what happened in Columbus, because of who wasn't playing. Should have beat Georgia. Should have beat Georgia in the first round of the semis. So when you look at it from that point, I can see how Frank Reich. And think about it like this way with Frank Reich. Frank Reich knows what he's doing with quarterbacks. He knows what he's doing, and Josh McCown is there as well. He
missed it with Carson Wentz, though.
No, he didn't, because guess who Frank Reich was initially with Carson Wentz? Carson Wentz almost won the MVP as a rookie. Who was his coach?
I know.
It was Frank Reich. Look at what Carson Wentz did in Colts with Frank Reich. I mean, look at what Frank Reich and Carson Wentz did together with Colts. It's the best passer year in terms of efficiency, best passer year in terms of QBR, the best passer year in terms of touchdowns. Still had a good year. He just had that horrible game against the Jacksonville Jaguars at the end of the season. Now, we all can remember. You look at Nick Foles. All these quarterbacks are what? They're bigger quarterbacks. Bryce Young is not the same size as any quarterback that Frank Reich has had, including himself.
And it was so good to see Jim Caldwell there, too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Jim Caldwell wearing the colors of the Lions, who had just got a panther instead of a lion on his shirt. You know,
Carolina blue.
Yeah, so good. So
you
good.
guys threw him away for 9-7. See? Terrible guys.
Wasn't good enough.
Terrible guys.
We needed Matt Patricia instead.
Terrible.
Anyway,
Yeah,
I'll move on. The Jets and Aaron Rodgers, have you noticed you really haven't heard much this week? That's because you haven't heard much this week. And the rumor still is the Packers want a first-round pick and something else. The Jets right now not budging. But the wish list of Aaron Rodgers is starting to fill up, because let's look at the next story I'm going to tell you about, and it's about Odell Beckham Jr. OBJ and the Jets look like they might be doing something together.
Hey, if you look at the OBJ, and I would love for him to go back to New York. It's not the Giants, but it's a fresh start in New York, but it's still New York. Nonetheless, I think this could be good for him, first and foremost, because he needs to go back to the Big Apple. I think he's put himself in a position, Maz, would you agree? He's put himself in a position that he went through his lumps, he matured, he got to a place where you respect Odell. To go back to New York as this Odell, I think it's a reward that he deserves.
That's a hell of a wide receiver room that they're going to have.
That's a hell of a room. But
a lot of speed.
Yeah, it's a hell of a room. It's a hell of a speed. But you look at it with Green Bay, it's one of those things now with Green Bay and the Jets. Joe Judge is the GM for the Jets. Joe Judge is a non-nonsense guy. He's going to get the best deal. He doesn't go for BS, and he's going to take what he wants. I talked to Joe Judge before.
Sean.
Sean, yeah. I talked to him before the Lions game. I was on the field. All he does is study film. All he does is study players, study like the cap, study space, study what they should do. He comes out briefly. This is what players said about it. Comes out briefly during games. Hey, what's going on the field? Then he leaves and goes right back to Florham Park and gets back in his office. And while the games are on, he's out here working. He's out here seeing what it is. He's not going for the BS that Green Bay is trying to pull. He's not going to go for it. So they're going to be a standstill at a very long time. If Green Bay thinks that they're going to cave because of Woody Johnson talking about I'll do whatever, because of them saying we're eager about, because of the fans and Mike Greenberg and Damian Woody on ESPN, if they think he's going to cave because of that, they got the wrong GM and they could be here forever.
Going to continue to go around the NFL, but first I'd like to tell you about Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Doesn't my hair look real good today? That's because my girl Becca took good care of me today. An award-winning haircut experience. I was not able to register being an employee of Woodward Sports, but you can register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I've lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit
We aren't quite sure if they consume more
beer.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Maz, it's up to me and you. Back to Ermanni and Edwards. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Maz, I apologize for that. Ryan, we'll see him in 2 seconds. Maz, we were talking about D-Hop now. D-Hop and the Arizona Cardinals right now, DeAndre Hopkins isn't on the market as high as the Arizona Cardinals. With the update with the Arizona Cardinals, will not be able to get their initial asking price of a second-round pick or another asset in a trade for wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins per Dov Kleiman. That's our guy over there. So, you know, they're trying to move him. D-Hop wanted to move. They want to move on for him. Probably wanted to make it second and third or third and fifth. Thought that they would get that for D-Hop, and, man, that just doesn't seem to be the case right now.
You know who might be interested in him, who is interested in him and OBJ, none other than the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
They got $10 million to spend, and they are hot after OBJ, who the Jets are after as well, and Hop.
Chiefs are interested in acquiring star receivers. Basically what Matt said, DeAndre Hopkins as well as free agent Odell Beckham working on that, but they only have $10 million in cap space. The interesting thing about that is when you have $10 million in cap space, these deals right now, you can set something in motion with the Arizona Cardinals where part of that contract get paid, so you can actually keep that cap space for the Kansas City Chiefs and bring in Odell Beckham. The only thing is, what will Odell command on that market? What is he trying to get? But Odell, D-Hop, Kadarius Toney is still there. That's not a bad receiver room for the Kansas City Chiefs. Ryan Ermanni.
How old is Odell Beckham?
33. 2013.
I mean,
so 10. He's about 30, 31, 32.
If
32.
31 when the season starts.
31 when the season starts. That's not old. I mean, we're sitting here talking about Marvin Jones Jr. at 33.
Yeah.
Two ACLs.
I understand.
In 3 years.
And because of that, though, if you are the Jets, why don't you look at Marvin Jones? Probably not going to cost you much. You know, instead of these big names, do you have to get a big name? I mean, I don't know. I love Odell Beckham Jr., the person. I just don't know two ACLs north of 30 in 3 years.
It's tough, and once again, there are always examples. I mean, you look at Thomas Davis. Thomas Davis had a plethora of ACLs, and so did Frank Gore, and both of those guys are going on to have Hall of Fame careers, both retired now. So there's always a case you can point out Odell, but you bring Odell Beckham in. If you look at your wide receiver room, you got Allen Lazard, you got Garrett Wilson, you have Corey Davis from Tennessee Titans, the fifth round, what is it, sixth pick overall out of Western Michigan back in the day. But you got that guy.
You got McCole Hardman.
McCole Hardman. You keep bringing Odell, now you bring in Odell Beckham. You bring in a guy that was in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. McCole Hardman's won the Super Bowl. Odell's won the Super Bowl. These guys are players you add to the value of the room. I don't think it's a bad move. I really don't think it's a bad move to bring in Odell, because I think
I'd rather D-Hop than Odell.
But you don't need D-Hop with the New York Jets. If you looking at that roster, they have Garrett Wilson.
I see that.
Garrett Wilson just won Offensive Player of the Year.
I got you. Yep.
Hey, here's a guy that we all got to root for, get behind. Former Raiders tight end Foster Moreau got signed by the Saints, got a free agent deal. So he's going through his physical, and they find out that he has Hodgkin's lymphoma. And he's got to step away from the game, obviously, and take care of his health.
Can I read this real quick?
Please do.
Through somewhat of a miraculous process, this free agency period has been life-changing for me. During a routine physical conducted by the Saints medical staff down in New Orleans, I've come to learn that I have Hodgkin's lymphoma and will be stepping away from football at this time to fight the new opponent, cancer. I'm grateful for the support and thankful for the people that have stood by me. There hasn't been a single step I've taken without hundreds of people lighting the path before me, and I will continue to seek their guidance. That being said, I'll go kick this thing's ass and then get back to doing what I love. AMDG. I'm not sure what that means, But that's what he wrote. So, and the Saints medical staff is being universally applauded for finding this.
Yeah, it's a miracle.
It really is.
If he doesn't go in free agency, he's probably not getting the physical. Do you get physicals every year, no matter what?
No, you don't. It's up to you. Talking about in terms of as you're playing football.
Like if you're on the same team.
Yeah, if you're on, you get a checkup. But it's usually a BS one though. It's usually a BS one. I'm sorry, exposing secrets, but it's just a BS one to get to the season. Maybe their processes are a little more extensive now, but this is the beauty of modern medicine, man, and technology, and being able to see these things and getting into them early. I remember my stepmom went in for a routine exam. This is 2011. This is early 2011. And come to find out, she had some brain deformity that happens at birth that 1 in 4 people have, or 1 in 7 people have, something like that. And where she was able to catch it, because if she didn't catch it at that end, this is 2011, so she was already upwards in age. If she didn't catch it, she would have died. And they had brains. They operated on her brain in 2011. She's still with us and operating amazingly. But if they didn't catch it in that routine random checkup, like my stepmom probably wouldn't be with us anymore. So, man, technology and modern medicine, man, the marvel.
Foster Moreau, you have our prayers.
No doubt.
No doubt about it. Let me tell you about a guy that's retiring from the NFL. Former Patriot linebacker standout, Dante Hightower, calling it a career. So it's another New England Patriot walking away. The old Pats just not the same anymore.
Everybody is leaving. Breaking: Patriots linebacker Dante Hightower announced that he is retiring from the NFL. And Dante Hightower, if I do remember correctly, has 3 Super Bowl wins and 2 Pro Bowl performances.
How quickly before Belichick is forced out?
The end of next year.
I agree.
End of next year.
I'm talking forced out.
End of next year.
Because he would stay in that job forever.
Yeah, 100%.
If he doesn't win a playoff game next year, I too believe he will be forced out.
Sometimes coaches can stay for too long. I mean, Jim Boeheim. If they didn't force Jim Boeheim out, man, Jim Boeheim still be there.
Oh yeah, that's a
Jim
fact.
Boeheim still. You saw how the press conference ended. Yep. Coaches don't. You get sometimes you get stuck in your ways and you can't necessarily adapt or evolve with the changes and adapt with the times, and you don't know how to respond to it. You don't respond how to accept it. And I think Belichick he's there, but he can still get away with it because he's Belichick. But I think he's there now. Like, I think the game has passed him by. I think decision-making has passed him by. He's still sharp off the field if we're having conversations and talking about coverages or talking about best players and things. But you're talking about running an organization from top to bottom. You're talking about evaluating players, bringing players in, decisions they're making. They never would have hired Juju Smith-Schuster when Bill Belichick was in his right, when Bill Belichick was at his best. So I think it's already happened, but we're giving him a pass because it's Bill Belichick. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of next year, he won't be the coach anymore.
Hey, last one around the league today.
Can I mention something about this Belichick thing real quick? I just think, this Patriot way thing, it's worked because they've won championships. Now, the players on this roster haven't won those championships. They don't have that.
Doesn't work without Brady.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is even Brady's last, when they lost to the Titans, the players slowly but surely on those championship teams are all gone. And when you don't have those players to say, no, rookie, this is the way you're doing it because this is what worked for us in the past, you don't have that cachet. The Patriot way is meaningless to a rookie, a second-year guy, a third-year guy, a fourth-year guy, hell, a fifth-year guy who has never seen success in New England.
Everybody, every dynasty goes through that. I mean, if you look at the 49ers of the 80s, and then eventually Steve Young takes over in the 90s. Now Steve Young's gone. Now Jerry Rice is gone. Now T.O. is gone and the franchise falls. I mean, you look at the Giants of the mid to late 80s, and then the 90s. And then once Lawrence Taylor is gone and Bill Parcells is gone and Belichick is gone and Roman Cannell is gone and Harry Carson's gone, now they turn into a bad franchise from starting about 93, 94, 95, et cetera. So every dynasty, and I'm not talking about just winners, dynasties go through this when there's no longer, the Raiders with John Madden and their guys not there. They're still curtain. Dynasties go through this, and it's just Belichick's turn.
The Washington Commanders are going to get a new owner soon. And guess who threw his hat in the ring? Magic
It's
Johnson.
the Magic Man,
Magic
baby.
Johnson
You
wants
know-
to throw his hat in the ring with a group of guys because he can't do it on his own because this team is going to go for a lot of money. It's valued at almost $5 billion right now, but I think it's going to go well above that, maybe $7 billion for this team. But Magic Johnson wants to get into the NFL now. He's already got a piece of the Dodgers.
This is very funny. Like, Matt, yeah, so for those of you out there that can see it, you can see it. For those of you who can't, Matt explained it. It's very funny because now you know if he gets with a group, guess who he'll be going against? His longtime friend, Michael Jordan.
Oh, is Jordan trying to get in
Jordan's
there too?
with Bezos.
That's why he's selling
Why
the
do
Hornets.
you think Jordan's selling the Wizards?
Okay.
I
The
mean,
Hornets.
the Bobcat.
Yeah.
The Hornets. One of those expansion teams. That's why he's sharing his majority shares.
damned.
'Cause he's going to be the be the minority
I
partner.
did not know that.
With Bezos. So now you're going to have Jordan versus Magic. It's going to be interesting. These guys, man, when they always know when big money people are trying to make a big money move, watch the big money moves they make. Remember when Magic sold all his shares of the Lakers? And then what did he do next? He insert LA Dodgers. Now he's trying to move shares again. Like when these big heavyweights, when they move big money, that's because they're about to try to acquire something for Magic and Michael. It's the Washington Commanders.
That Washington team is that's a juggernaut organization to own. They'll get a new stadium.
Outside of the Dallas Cowboys,
They're up there,
I
man.
think Washington's a top 5 franchise in
They're
the
up
league.
there.
Don't sleep on the Washington Commanders to get the guy that you've been trying to figure out.
Lamar Jackson.
Don't sleep on the Washington Commanders for Lamar Jackson. First of
cross
all,
town.
it's down the street.
Yeah, cross town.
And what's the nickname of Washington? It's all good. We can keep it funky. It's Chocolate City. Get Lamar Jackson in there to Chocolate City. He's about as chocolate as they come. Put him in there, baby. He's down the street right now.
Lamar Jackson.
It will be great. It's down the street. Get your franchise started the right way. Like, that'd be a hell of a fat move for the Washington Commanders to make. I mean, their fans essentially cheer for your team already anyway.
Yep.
That'd be tough.
Guys, break time. Right back. Final segment of the show. Chili, peppers, tanning though.
Yes, sir. 27 locations. More on the way, guys. No excuse. You can find your way to a Chili Peppers tanning salon. It is the cleanest salon in the D, by the way. Excuse me. And of course, you're going to get the best deal because if you join the Pepper Club, they're going to beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tanning. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. Your Vitamin D headquarters, ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper! Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
You okay, Maz? Maz almost died of a coughing fit during
Still doesn't look out of the woods.
Oh, man.
He still doesn't look out of the woods.
I've been rocked.
Not out of the woods yet. Hey, Braylon, we talked so much about players re-signing with the Lions. One guy has not. On his way to the New York Jets.
2 guys.
That's your boy, Ermanni Oruwariye.
100% free agency back. Ermanni Oruwariye is signing a 1-year deal with the Giants. Sources tell at The Source, Jordan Schultz. This is interesting. The thing about this is, because I've always been a fan of Ermanni Oruwariye, even when he was at Penn State, I thought he was a really good DB. The thing about this is when you don't have that much time, you don't have that much time. The Detroit Lions this year start off 1-6. They were bad defensively. You know, you look at him in a game where he had 6 penalties called on him. Ladies and gentlemen, 6. If you're on a good team, you can make this work because Ermanni Woodward had 6 interceptions the year before and was the best defensive back the Lions had. I've been in games where I've seen Antonio Cromartie get flagged 4 times. I've seen it back-to-back weeks, Cromartie getting flagged 4 times. I've seen other DBs get flagged more times. But 1, when you start, 2, when you're on a better team, you have way more time, you have way more leniency. Mario Woodward, that defense was historically bad, and then you get 6 penalties in 1 game. Lions didn't have a chance to keep him, and they couldn't keep playing him hell, his coach got fired. So essentially, he got his coach fired. But he will be good with the Giants. I think he will be good. Dayball will be there for him. He'll be able to get his confidence back, and that Giants defense is trending in the right direction.
They love our scraps.
Yeah, your boy Austin Bryant out too, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson happy about that. He says, good, I can get number 2 now.
Yep, he goes to San Francisco.
Very good.
Want those jersey numbers. It's
How about tonight? We got basketball tonight.
Yeah, you got a number. What's the number on it, Maz?
I thought it was 2.5.
Michigan State?
They're favored.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Wow,
playing good basketball, man.
And they don't have a good record. They don't have a good record at the Garden, do they? Well, they're always playing like a Duke or a UNC or one of those preseason challenges or something like that.
Very true.
4-16 at the Garden.
4-16. Now, if they win tonight, they go to the Final Four. I think, because I think they're better than Tennessee and FAU.
Well, it comes down to it now. You see, when you get to this type of where college basketball is now, man, as long as you got some seniors, got some juniors on your team that have been playing well for some years together, you got a coach that knows what he's doing. Once you get into the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, these are the formulas that win. And Michigan State has seniors, they have juniors, and they have one of the greatest coaches to ever do it. So anything's fair game right now in the Sweet 16 for Michigan State.
I totally agree with that.
Let's put up the ratings for the games. This is what I got under.
Maz's
Braylon's skin earlier today when I showed the numbers. And the Michigan State Marquette game on Sunday led the way. Ryan.
10 million people, nearly 11 million people, 10.9 million people. Arkansas, Kansas, 9.5 million. Kansas State, Kentucky, all the Blue Bloods, Tennessee and Duke, and then Texas and Penn State. How about that? Penn State up there, Penn State basketball. But you've got Michigan State, Kansas, Kentucky, Duke. The Blue Bloods, college basketball.
100%. The Blue Bloods of college basketball, and the only kind of the games where you recognize the logo, you recognize the emblem, you know the school, you know the coach. And so also, once again, sports betting. Sports betting doesn't exist. People aren't watching NCAA tournaments anymore. I'm sorry. It's always about the stars. Like the tournament, obviously, it's about the Cinderella. It's about the random win, the 16 beating the 1 in the case of Virginia. You know, you watch for that, but you just watch for stars. That was the majority. You don't have stars anymore, so now it's more so. Let me bet that parlay $4 to win $1 million.
Hey, 4 games tonight in the Sweet 16. Led off by Michigan State. They will lead off at 6:30 tonight. Then the Arkansas game will be on. Arkansas against UConn. UConn's playing great.
So is Arkansas, man. That's going to be
They are.
That's going to be in my opinion, that's going to be the best game. In my opinion, I think either that one, Maz, either Arkansas.
The Zags and UCLA. Come on, that's the nightcap.
Yeah.
That's a great game. That's always a great game.
I'm telling you, don't sleep. Don't sleep on the Arkansas-UConn game. I think that's going to be the one in the Sweet
and
16.
then FAU and Tennessee is the middle game.
I think UConn wins the national championship. I do, but I think Michigan State this year. I think Michigan State has just as good a chance as any to get to the Final Four. Be looking forward to the game tonight.
Princeton's still dancing tomorrow, number 15.
How about it? Unbelievable. Ivy League. Where's Tommy Amakers?
I love that
Harvard.
stuff, man.
What's Harvard?
Harvard didn't make it.
No, what are they? The Friars?
Crimson.
Oh, the Crimson.
Yeah.
Very good.
Where the hell did Houston's out of the tournament?
No, tomorrow.
No, they play tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
You just had the games on for today.
Yeah,
I was like, I know I'm
tomorrow
not.
she will have tomorrow's game.
Yeah, Houston and Alabama.
Oh man,
they're both playing different games.
No, I'm saying I have 3 teams left from my Final Four. That's all I have. I had Kansas win it all, and I lost with Kansas.
I got UCLA winning. I got Alabama winning. I got Houston winning.
I got UConn winning.
Good for you, Jack.
I don't remember who my Final Four teams were.
I got Xavier in the Final Four twice, so we'll see how the X-Men
But
do
I
tomorrow.
did get my Wordle in 2 the other day, if that means anything.
I've never played Wordle.
Oh, it's so great. My Final Four teams are UConn, Houston, Memphis and Arizona.
Oh, that's good.
Did you sneak a Wordle comment in?
I'm just saying, I got a Wordle in 2. I don't remember what my final 4 teams are, but I got a Wordle in 2. You better wrap us up here, Braylon, before...
How do you end with that? That was so good.
That was brilliant.
That was so good, man. 4 days down, 1 day left, Friday tomorrow.
Oh, this guy just
I saw that. He did. He almost bounced on the curb.
Bro, come on, man.
Over or under... Never mind.
I mean, and I'm getting hit first if somebody comes through this wall.
Actually, that's going to be JB's might get clipped. The studio might.
No, JB's got a beautiful
He's got a
brick wall right in front of him.
So the bricks will fall
so
out.
Then you or Alyssa to get hit.
Man, I'm screwed over here. Dang.
All right, man. We appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. 1 day left to this Friday. Next week, we promise to get into the lower rounds next week. I know we're so heavily on pick 6, pick 18, and pick 48, first 2 rounds. Next week, we will really dive into the later rounds of the NFL draft because as of right now, that's where Brad Holmes has been most dangerous anyway. So look out for that next week. And special guest next week, Detroit Lions. I can't say if he plays or coaches, but Detroit Lions, ladies and gentlemen. From my man JB Fletch, Maz on the couch. UNC Tar Heel Blue. From my man Dre Black, Ryan Ermanni over there, I'm Braylon Edwards. And we are.
I think you just gave it away.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.